Asha, let me start with you. Feel free to take a large bucket of cold water and dump it all over everything I just said. Why do you believe this was the right move? And why do you have any sense of optimism that it will be proper administration of justice that will benefit the people?
Yeah, Chris, I think a fundamental pillar of the rule of law is that investigations have to be independent and impartial. And not only in fact, but they have to be perceived as being independent and impartial. And by the way, let me just say, I'm using the reasonable person standard here, okay? It is not appropriate from even a perception standpoint for a political appointee to investigate and prosecute someone who will be a opposing political candidate of his boss, basically. That would be the situation that Merrick Garland would be in. It would not look good. If the situation were reversed and Bill Barr were investigating Joe Biden leading up to, 2020, I think people would have felt the same way. Having a special counsel creates an important buffer. And I think it also adds layers of transparency and accountability because the special counsel regulations have mechanisms that require reporting for certain kinds of decisions made by the special counsel, made by the attorney general that, creates a way for Congress to know and therefore the public to know what's going on. Normally, this would just be a black box at DOJ. So I think for a number of reasons, which we can go into in more detail, this is the right thing to do. If anything, he should have done it earlier. But I think doing it now is the right thing to do.
Yes, I agree with you. And I think that not doing it earlier is what's going to make this seem so suspect right now. So, Jim, when you think about this decision, look, Asha's right if we're taking the written test right now. And, of course, she'd be grading it because she's the professor. But it's not just about the law. How do you think this plays and what do you think it means?
So I agree with everything Asha said in terms of the letter of the law. I think it was the right decision. I think he needed to make this decision post Trump's announcement to run for another bid for president. I think it would be a real issue for him to be investigating Trump when Biden's stated intention is to perhaps run again. So I think it's exactly the right move. The timing, the reporting said that he was toiling over this for some time. The Justice Department had been thinking about it. That's a call that the Attorney General needs to make, and he was confident that they could continue the investigation and doing the work that they were doing. And you have to trust that was the right decision at the time. And quite frankly, I probably would have waited as well. I think it's easy to say after the fact that, oh, they should have done it earlier. I think doing it today is probably the right time. Politically, I think it's the right decision because it does create that buffer. And, I think Trump's going to come out and cry foul tonight, most likely, and say that, this is just the Justice Department picking on him again. I don't think that falls on everyone like you do, Chris. I think there's going to be a large segment of the Republican Party that says enough is enough of this, right? We've heard this story before. Like, there are other people out there that can carry the same policies and talk the same talk without all the nonsense that goes along, and the crowd noise that goes along with it, and all the problems that go along with it. And we've seen that in the polling going up from in New Hampshire and Iowa and other places where Trump's falling short because, quite frankly, he fell short in this last election cycle. And I think it's all feeding into it of people just running, getting tired of the same old coming out of Trump.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.